Hello, everybody. Welcome to our art along. I hope that all of you will get out your tools and make art with us. Welcome to Art Prof. We are a global art party. What are you working on, Jordan?
I am going to be doing some chibi Shadowboxers characters. So Shadowboxers is my personal project that I've put in lots of love and time into, and I'm just going to do some cute, fun versions of the characters. So they look like this, and then eventually I'm going to make them like all cute and friendly and all that stuff. Very friend shaped.
It started in Japan, right?
Shadowboxers?
No.
Oh,
Chibi.
oh. I was like, no, that's not true. Yes, as far as I know, chibi started in Japan. Someone's gonna clip that and make something out of it.
Exactly. Hello, everybody. Let us know in the chat, what did you have for breakfast? I had some bread fairy bread for breakfast, and it was amazing. And then I also had 2 cups of coffee already. And did I have raspberries this morning? I can't remember.
Dang,
I
it was
know.
like an hour.
What did you have for breakfast, Jordan?
I didn't eat anything yet.
What?
Yeah, I got up too late. So actually, this water will be the first thing that I've eaten or had drank. Yeah.
By the way, everybody, I hope that you will all hang out in the Discord because we will be posting updates, some glamour shots of my palette. And we love it when you guys post what you're working on in Art Alongs, and we'll give you a shout out. We also will be doing the same thing in the Show and Tell channel, where I have posted my every week, my art prof bad. These are really, really bad, unclear, confusing thumbnails that I did for the Dune poster a long time ago. So I hope you will share your bad artwork. But we will be giving people shout outs. Like, for example, this is Rick BW1. Oh, those are some really
Ooh,
juicy colors. Look at those reds.
nice. I like the textures too.
We also have Rambo Commit, who is doing some really beautiful painting. And I can see down here, it looks like a skull happening, some really great variation in the drapery. We also have Devon's Jesse and Jane from BB. What is BB?
That's Breaking Bad, Clara.
I don't know
Oh
the
my gosh.
abbreviation. Okay, that's Jesse. I understand.
I was like, you didn't recognize the beanie? Come on.
Come on, I'm old. I can't keep track of all the abbreviations.
Jesse.
Jesse. Tell us in the comments who here watched Breaking Bad. Although I'm still mad at you that you haven't watched Better Call Saul.
I'm sorry, I got a couple things happening that's preventing that. just for now, one day.
By the way, everybody, there is a very big announcement that we're going to make today, probably in about 5 minutes or so.
Oh my gosh.
So it's time for you to put in your guesses. What is the big news that is happening in March? You're going to find out in about 5 minutes. But first, let's take a look. We have a drawing here. This is by Shannon. Let's zoom in and take a look. Oh, really beautiful brushwork. I'm guessing that's digital, right, Jordan?
Probably, but
Yeah,
they're using the medium as if it's more traditional, which is really, really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, they're doing some airbrushing techniques. Yeah, the consistency of how the background is done makes it look digital, but it's very cool. It's they're probably using like a traditional mindset as they're working.
We also have stuff from Alex, latest finished oil painting. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. Beautiful shadows in this piece. And that background is eerie in a good way.
Those are some intense eyes too.
Yeah. Like the veins that are in the eyes. Those are super intense. And then, oh, Foxtra has been watching some of our old videos on figure drawing. And this is the last reference in the video, and it took about 1 hour. Yeah, the reference here is by photographer Laura Aguilar. And I just love these little doodles in the lower right hand corner, and then this like beautiful figure drawing. That's fantastic. Cool. Sorry, Neil. I'm not marrying him. He's dating Sutton Foster, and I'm kind of upset about it because he had such a long marriage with his wife, and then he and Sutton Foster had an affair when they were on The Music Man on Broadway, and he just got a divorce. She got a divorce too, both of them.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, people
Okay.
can live their lives. I don't really care about that, but he was just known for having this really strong marriage, and it was sort of a bummer.
I see.
Neil, I might cry. I really might cry. Get it?
I don't even know who Sutton Foster is. Like, I've never heard of this person in my life.
She's like a major Broadway star. Like, she's won Tonys and stuff like that. She was in Sweeney Todd with my man Aaron Tveit.
Yeah, I don't know this person at all. I just looked her up.
Yeah, see, I agree, Anna. I like Better Call Saul better than Breaking Bad, which is insane because Breaking Bad is amazing, but Better Call Saul, oh man, Jordan.
One day, I will get there. I just need a minute.
Yeah, you should take care of your stuff first. All right, so we need a summary of Breaking Bad for those of you who haven't seen it. In a nutshell, Jordan.
All right,
Breaking one Bad. Sentence, sum it up.
All right, this will be log one practice. Breaking Bad is about a chemistry teacher who gets diagnosed with lung cancer, and he starts to sell drugs to support his family.
Nice. Such a weird thing. Yeah. I am today going to be using these Cobra water mixable oils, which a lot of people have told me are supposedly way better than the Winsor & Newton ones that I have. So today is my test to see if these are actually better. And you can see this is a pack that comes with multiple colors. There is a link in the description below for people to take a look at it. And I also posted some images in the Art Alongs channel, which you guys can post your stuff in. Okay.
Hey, Claire, speaking of Cobra, did you see the Cobra Kai trailer that just came out?
No, I got behind on Cobra Kai.
Ah, darn it. Okay.
I haven't been keeping up.
It's the very final, like part of the final season. So yeah, this is like the final curtain call.
Okay, let's get into it. And like I said, in about 5 minutes, we are going to reveal the major Art Prof news. And by the way, everybody, in case you're wondering, Jordan is doing a chibi character because we just announced March and April workshops. Jordan is doing a workshop on chibi characters, and he's doing another one on digital color. And for the first time, Mia is teaching 2 workshops. One of them is painting luminous color, and the other one is sparkly paintings. And of course, I have my usual lineup of workshops. Check it out. The link is in the description below. Okay, let's paint a little. Let's get set up. I think, okay, so the colors that are here, where are the color names? What the heck? Where are the color names?
You don't see them on there?
Oh, here it is. Okay, permanent yellow light, titanium white, permanent orange. You know something? I never use orange pre-mixed. Maybe I should try it today. Okay, the other one is Puro Red, which I also have not used. Permanent red, violet, light, ultramarine blue, permanent green deep, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and ivory black. Well, I'm sad that there's no alizarin crimson. It makes me wonder if maybe the permanent red violet light might be a good substitute. And it's also missing. Well, there's only one blue? How
Wait,
come
really?
there's not more blue?
That's pretty strange. I've never heard of blue just being out of the equation in a pack of colors.
Well, here's the thing. We have yellow ochre, permanent orange, and permanent yellow light. It's like, why do we have so many colors that are so close to yellow? And then there's only one blue. I'm sorry, Cobra. You really need to give me two. If you're going to give me all these yellows and oranges, you've got space for another blue, in my opinion. Also, green. I don't tend to I don't tend to use green out of the tube. I tend to like to mix it a lot better. Burnt sienna's good. I don't really use ivory black, but you know something? Maybe today's the day that I use a bunch of colors that I've never used before. We'll see.
Hey, why not? And I agree with you on the green aspect because that's a color I would more likely than not mix than use like a straight out of the tube green.
It's so nuanced. Oh, hang on. I have to go get my medium. Give me a sec.
I don't know what she's getting, but hi everyone.
Let's get my
Yeah. Anna's asking what is a chibi. So it's chibi, chibi, and it's basically like a cute version of a character. So it's like 2 heads tall, the head's really big, and everything's super round. So right now I'm doing Javen, this character in the blue, and I'm making him very cute and cuddly. So yeah.
Can't find my paint. Oh wait, here it is. Got it. Okay, this is my horrible box of water mixable oils. I'm gonna get out. I have these squeeze bottles that I use, but of course I can't find the one that has medium in it. Oh shoot. Maybe I'll just use. Well, here's the thing. These are water mixable oils. The advantage is that you can wash them with water. But the thing is, all of my brushes have oil paint in it, which I don't want to clean with water. So I'm thinking I might just treat them like oils. I mean, they are oils chemically, I believe. But because I don't want to mix the water with all the oil in my brushes, I think I'm just going to use regular oil medium. Okay, screw this box. Let's go find another one.
I feel so rusty today. I was drawing last night, but I feel like my hand is not quite where I want.
Why are you rusty?
I don't know. I haven't really warmed up that much this morning, so this is like the first thing I'm doing for the day. So my hand's feeling a little weird.
Why did you start doing the chibi characters?
Why did I or why didn't I?
Why did you?
Oh, why did I? Because it's fun. Sometimes you just want to draw something that's a little bit different, but also familiar. And when I was doing style studies back in school, we looked at so many different artists, and one of them was Craig McCracken, and another was Sean Galloway, and they both have really fun, cutesy kind of styles. And everything's just like very round, very bubbly, and it's like, oh, this is a cool thing to do. And so I tried it, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I always like doing stuff like that. It's a lot more challenging than it looks. I will say that.
Why is it hard?
Because there's certain things you have to translate a bit differently. Like for example, with Javen here, his hair is very pointy at the top here. So I kind of have to reimagine and like think of it as a more rounded shape. I have to rethink how his eyes look. I have to rethink how his nose looks, and pretty much everything has to be redesigned with the same iconography. So yeah, it's got its challenges, but it is a lot of fun. It is worth it at the very end for sure.
All right, I got my paints out, and I'm noticing that these are pretty squishy. And these are running a little bit oil, the blue and the green. They look very oily to me. Yeah, even the burnt sienna is getting a little bit oily. And I don't think they're as thick as the Winsor and Newton ones. They definitely felt lighter when I squeezed them out. And I am going to try every single color. But you know what I can't believe? Okay, I'm sorry. Can somebody tell me what am I going to do with this bubblegum magenta pink? That should be alizarin crimson. Like, I feel very deprived that there's no alizarin crimson. I have to deal with this pink. I mean, I'm sure the pink has its place, but I need alizarin crimson. Tell me in the chat, do you need alizarin crimson? Because I feel like I'm going to die if I don't have alizarin crimson. And honestly, it's like, why is that orange there? Like, it's so easy to mix orange, but there's no cerulean blue. Sorry, I'm griping a lot.
No, I think that's what the internet likes, is when you complain and gripe.
Well, that's what we all want to do all day, right?
I try not to.
Well, you're probably.
I've seen what happens to people who only complain all the time, and it becomes very exhausting. I have family members like that. It's very tough.
I'm going to take some glamour shots of the paints for everybody to see, and you guys can see what I mean. I mean, they really are oily, especially the green one is like dripping. I don't know if I like that, because I really like my oh my god, there's paint everywhere and I haven't even started painting yet. Oh, see how much work it is to paint, Jordan? Oh my god.
I do know how much work it is to paint. that is something I'm very aware.
Like, you practically finished your chibi, and I'm here still figuring out my stupid paints.
Oh, well, if it makes you feel better, I'm still figuring this out too.
Okay, good. Yeah. But you're making way more progress than I am.
Well, this is like I'm still in sketch phase, where I'm just like, how big are the eyes going to be, and are the outlines of the nose large enough? Like those are the kind of questions I'm asking right now for myself. It's like a constant conversation in my head, like, no, do this, don't do this.
All right, everybody, we promised some news. Oh my god! I think I'm gonna cry in the stream. Oh my god!
All right, should we just should we just say it?
Jordan, what's happening?
I am getting married in March 24th. Yeah, Clara's coming. That's why she's all crying and stuff. So, yep, getting married, and she's actually in the chat. Everyone say hello. This is Kathy, my future bride. So,
oh my gosh, Kathy, I want to meet you.
You will on March 24th. So, yeah, that's the big news. That's the big news. And the part 2 of it, I'm also moving. I'm leaving California and I'm going to Texas. So, yep, that is the next big life journey for me.
I think I am crying, Jordan.
Oh, don't cry.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Well, at the very least, you could turn into content. What makes the art professor?
What are you doing to me? Oh god, I can't take it now. And by the way, everybody, guess what? We have their wedding site in the description. There's some really, really cute pictures. Oh my gosh, I should pull it up, right? Okay.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
You have the cutest picture on the front that just I got a second, I gotta pull it up. Look.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know what's funny? That was like right as we were getting rained on in that photo.
Awesome.
It was very Notebook like. I never seen that movie, but I know it's supposed to rain in that movie.
I love this photo. Like, Kathy, I never met you, but I already love you to death. Oh.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the congrats. My cheeks are hurting from all the smiles. So thank you guys.
I don't know if I can paint. Oh, God, so sweet.
So I will say this: some of you guys, well, none of you guys know, but we met at RISD. We met at RISD back in 2014, doing a mural, and we were on opposite sides of the mural, but that's where we met for the first time. And then we had a bunch of classes together, graduated from RISD together, and yeah, now it's official. It's official.
So we're all going except for me.
Yes, and all the art prof crew RSVP'd except for Mia. Mia has some other things, but it's okay. It's all right. We still love Mia.
Oh, you guys are so cute. I can't. Oh my God, Jordan. What's gonna happen to me when I'm gonna like?
What? I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh my God.
Do you need a second? Do you need a minute, Clara? You need to step off?
I'm not gonna paint right away. This is just like.
Yeah, Kathy's saying don't die.
Oh my God, what's gonna happen when I'm actually there? I'm gonna like pass out.
Please don't. Please don't. I don't know. I don't think we have any medics that are going to be present. So,
guys, oh, thank you all for the love. Rainbow Unicorn, Neil, Anna, Butter, Anna. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Lala, Ithan, Alexander, Rainbow. Tolly says, Mama Lou is happy for you. Yes, Alexander, I need a tissue. Paula.
Oh, there's so much love. I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much.
Let's look at the front picture. I think that's like my favorite picture, Jordan.
Which one? That one?
This one. You guys are so cute.
Oh wait, Claire, you guys showed the seal for the invitation.
Oh yeah, because I just got the invitation. You guys, look at the invitation. Look, isn't that pretty?
Got a nice seal on
Look
it.
at the
Kathy made those seals; they were epic.
I just think that's the cutest thing. Okay, promise we're gonna paint. Promise.
Yeah, we're gonna paint. We're gonna do art stuff, but yeah, had to share the news with y'all.
Yes. Well, Jordan, this is coming at a interesting point in your life because you are moving, and I wonder how that feels for you, because a lot of that does have to do with some of the changes in the industry and where you want to take your work creatively as well. So I wonder, because I think you're sort of having a similar moment as I had in terms of leaving academia.
Yeah, so I might as well just say it. I lost my job a couple months ago, and it has made it in the industry, the animation industry in particular, has shifted a lot to the point where no one knows what it's going to look like. People aren't being hired. A lot of people are out of work, and then with the fires that happened recently, it's a very tumultuous time. And I was born and raised here in LA. But and that was one of the reasons I came back, and then also because the industry's here. But everywhere I go, professionals and professors and news articles I see, it's like the industry is shifting, and living in LA is very expensive, and it just doesn't make sense for me to be out here anymore, especially while things are so uncertain. So it doesn't mean I'll never come back here, but for now, it's a better move for me to just get up and move to Texas. So yeah, that doesn't, and just to be clear, that does not mean I'm leaving art prof by any means. I'm going to be right here. I'm just going to be in a different state and married. So yes.
If you ever leave us, Jordan, I'm going to go into like literal cardiac arrest.
And we don't want that. We saw what that
Oh,
almost looked like just a few minutes ago. So,
no.
so we don't want that.
Oh my God. Well,
Oh,
I just think that I don't want to call it a midlife crisis, but I think a lot of people have moments like that in their life. And it's not always job related, but it's like you take stock of what's happening and whether you want to continue down the same path or not.
yeah, and it's tough because I've always had this dream. I mean, there's shorts that have been made on Art Prof about me always wanting this dream of working in this industry, but there are certain things that are just out of your control, and you either can, you know, kind of go into the fetal position and cry about it, or you can make some moves to make things a little bit better. So I've decided to choose the latter. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm not 100% sure. I really am not, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. One thing that's for sure, it'll give me more time to do shadow boxers. So that's awesome.
Well, you and I have been talking a lot about how everything's changing so much that the traditional roots of doing things they're sort of disappearing. I mean, more and more I'm reading about people on YouTube who got a show or got a book deal or any of those types of things. And I just think it's not weird anymore to do that like it used to be when YouTube first got started and nobody knew what was going on, and the traditional route was really still there, but not so much anymore, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. What's interesting, actually, if you look at, I don't know if it's like the Nielsen ratings or what it is, but the there's polls that list out the best or the most popular platforms that people watch. YouTube is number one consistently.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
it is more than double what Netflix gets, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's all these other streaming services like Disney Plus and Hulu and stuff. And then, but like cable TV, I just saw something that said Cartoon Network, that channel gets 78,000 viewers a week. Or no, is it a week or a day? I think it's a day. But yeah, 78,000 viewers a day. But that's not sustainable. That's really like I think we've gotten more views on our videos
Right.
than that sometimes. So it's like you're talking about a cable network, like that's scary. That's
That is
really
crazy.
scary. So yeah, it's insane. But yeah, all that kind of combined, it's I think it's we're definitely entering into some sort of dark age, if you will. No one really knows what's going to happen after that. So never say never. I'm hopeful that things can get back to something sustainable. Whether it looks like what it used to or not is beside the point, in my opinion. But yeah, it's definitely a lot.
You know what I think it is? I think it's because the millennials are now older and they are now making decisions about what gets seen in various places, because 10 years ago it was a different generation that was in charge.
That's
And the
it.
millennials grew up with YouTube.
That's true. That's true. Well, to be honest with you, like I go into people's homes sometimes and they don't even have a TV.
Yeah, I know.
If anything, if they do have a TV, they're watching YouTube on it. Or they'll just binge watch, whoever. And it's just different. It's different. I think it's scary because it's part of it is jobs are disappearing, but the other part is there's never been more of an opening for this type of stuff, for indie stuff to come out. Oh wait, I want to highlight a couple questions that I've gotten. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Tali says, for Jordan, do you think Texas has a bigger art animation space than LA? No, it's just cheaper. It's cheaper to live in Texas by a lot. I won't go into the specific numbers. You can look that up, but it's much cheaper and a lot of work is being outsourced anyway. So it's like, why not choose a place where I can feel like I can grow. And then question for Jordan, will you still work on shadow boxers? Actually, Kathy says we'll be shadow boxing together. So what that means is Kathy's been a huge help on shadow boxers for the last several years. She actually designed the logo for it. She designed the website for shadow boxers. She designed some of my recent YouTube thumbnails. And so she's an artist, right? So we're going to be doing that together and figuring out how this world works. And so even though it's been slow, there has been progress made, and there will continue to be progress made on shadow boxers. So just wanted to assure you guys of that.
Actually, I'm curious. Tell us in the comments. Out of all the places you can watch things, Netflix, Amazon Prime, all that stuff, which is the one that you watch the most? So for you, Jordan, what is the platform that you're on the most to watch, like movies and stuff, or I don't know, whatever?
Honestly, I watch more YouTube than I do like movies.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube all the time. I have 110 tabs on my computer open right now, and I would say 70 of them are YouTube videos that I just haven't gotten a chance to watch.
Wow. That's way more than me. Because I think because I'm older, I tend to just watch movies and TV shows. Like I don't I don't watch very much YouTube, to be honest. The YouTube that I really watch is I watch the help channels for updates on YouTube.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I like watching shows and things like that, but sometimes it's a little distracting. With YouTube, you have a number of things you can watch. Like there's different types of content that you don't have to like necessarily look at. Like there's podcasts, there's reactions, and just a wider. You have I think a wider potential for building an audience on YouTube than.
Well, one of the reasons because we did try the traditional route. I did try with WGBH in Boston to get a show with them, and I wooed them for a while, but ultimately they said to me, yeah, we just want to do STEM. I was like, how can you have so little imagination? Like,
don't worry, it'll come back to bite them at some point.
Well, I looked at their YouTube channel. It's pathetic. I'm like,
then maybe
sorry, but it is.
Maybe it's already biting them then.
Well, I think they're just so freaking behind the times. And for me, one of the most compelling reasons that we went on YouTube is so I didn't have to wait for somebody's approval. Like that's the most frustrating thing about doing that traditional route.
Yeah. That's the exciting thing about the industry being where it is. If anything is you don't have to wait on people anymore, which I think is really awesome. It makes it tough because certain things are uncertain. Like if you're trying to crowdfund a whole animated series, that could be a lot of pressure.
Oh, it's a lot.
And it costs a lot of money to do that. And if you're talking about a series with like 22-minute episodes and 60 episodes or something like that, like that's a lot to try and figure out on your own. So it hasn't been done too many times, but it is possible. I do know that.
But also, wouldn't you rather your work be out there in some capacity, even if it's extremely limited, than just waiting forever and ever and ever for somebody to say, yep, we'll give it to you?
Yeah, especially in today's stage. So I brought this up once before on a stream, but some of you may know I actually pitched Shadowboxers to a very popular streaming platform, and they actually really liked the idea. The reason they did not take it was because they had something that they said was somewhat similar. In reality, I don't think it was personally, but I'm not the business guy behind all that. And we had people attached to it and everything, like celebrities that you guys would know. And, I just waiting on different meetings to happen and waiting for approvals and this and that. It's like, you know what? Like, I would rather, that's part of what started the whole webcomic thing. I was like, if something goes wrong and I don't own this thing anymore, like that's gonna be heartbreaking for me, because
That's terrible.
a lot of shows got picked up and canceled before they even aired, and those creators can never work on it again. And I don't think I can handle that. I think I would go into some sort of spiraling depression if that happened.
Oh, you don't want that.
So that's another reason why I think going independent works better for someone like me, especially in a time like this where there are options out there.
Update on the Cobra paints. You can see here, this is my palette so far, and I will be posting a picture of that in the Discord. Okay, this red violet light is disgusting. I don't like it. Look at this gross purple it made. Now, remember, I'm talking about this in the context of this painting. Perhaps this pink would be good in another painting, but it's not good for what I want. I will say, though, even though it's not as thick as Winsor & Newton, they are creamier. And I do think between the two, Cobra and Winsor & Newton, I guess I would probably use them together, because the other thing about the Cobras is that it's pretty thin. Like, I feel like these would be very good for glazing, which is what I'm doing right now. But if I want to build up opaque color that has a lot of body, I definitely would go with Winsor & Newton. I think that's like it for any material. I mean, when I'm using soft pastels, I never just use one brand. And it seems like, yeah, these would be a good companion to that. It's just, I can't get away from the lack of alizarin crimson. That makes me sad. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments in the chat. And remember, everybody, if you have a question, super helpful for me if you can type question in all caps. So that way I am less likely to miss your question. And if I do, feel free to just post it in the chat again. Neil is asking, can you talk about how you approach painting that hand? Seems challenging. I'm just thinking shape at this point. I'm not thinking about volume or light, because the hand didn't exist. And so the only thing I can think about right now is just getting an approximate shape. And then I'll go back in and start adding some highlights. I'm not really thinking about color yet. I think probably I'd have to build up the opacity of the hand, get the shape really working. And then when it's dry, that's probably when I would go in and start making some color adjustments. This is actually good for us to talk about, because I was doing an Open Studios session yesterday. And one of the questions that somebody asked us about, and by the way, Open Studios is part of Art Club. It's really cool to have those different components. But somebody asked me about how to approach value, because value and color are both present in a color image, but it's also easy, I think, for us to forget about value because the color is so compelling. I mean, Jordan, do you have tips for how to do color, especially because you're doing stuff which is a lot more flat with color?
Yeah, I mean, we said this many times on streams, but value, in my opinion, is more important than what the actual color is. Usually what I see whenever some colors look off, it's because they can't separate color and value. Like, those things are the exact same to them. And in reality, if you can step back and recognize the difference, that's usually what will help a lot. I would also say the greatest area of contrast could be your focal point in a design or in a landscape. So, like, if I go to like any of my characters, usually you'll find that the greatest contrast is like in the area or the zone where I want you to look. But beyond that, you know, maybe looking at different color schemes like monochromatic, analogous, triadic, complementary, like those different things are super, super helpful. So all these things are really going back to fundamentals, but at the end of the day, those are the things that I think make the greatest pieces work.
We also have a question. George says, does Cobra not have an alizarin crimson, or is it just not included in your set? I don't know. Can somebody look that up for me? Because that would be a deal breaker for me. If there's no alizarin, like I have to have alizarin crimson. Although I suppose I could just use it from the Winsor & Newton set as well to compromise. And by the way, everybody, if you look at the chat, you will see we do have a goal for today for super chats, because guess what? We are doing a gouache marathon this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I need those Daniel Smith gouache paints because you know something? I contacted them and they are like ghosting me. So I'm not able to get them through the manufacturer, but I really want to demo them because I've never tried the Daniel Smith gouache before. I will be showing Holbein and also M. Graham, but I think it would be nice for you guys to see the 3 different brands and how they contrast. And I need the funding because guess what? Daniel Smith, 1 tube of gouache is $16. I'm like, okay, I do not have that. So if people want to send super chats, that would make it possible for me to get Daniel Smith gouache, because, oh gosh, I'm looking at it. I'm like, it's going to be a good $100 for me to get those Daniel Smith paints. So you can see there is a goal which has been posted. You guys can take a look at that. Because if I don't get the funding, then we're only going to see 2 gouache brands. So hopefully we can do that for you guys. You can just send a super chat and that will help me pick up those paints, because it's a little late for me to be getting them shipped because I do need them by Friday. So if people send me a super chat, that'll make it easier for me to just go to the store and get the paints. Welcome, Sketch Paws. So glad to have you here in the chat. Okay, Neil and Anna disagree. That red violet light is so pretty. I think that purple is beautiful. Let's see. Other people are talking about, oh yes, I did forget my hand balm protector. It's Art Guard by Winsor & Newton. Yes, forgot that. Like everything. Okay. Yeah, if you guys have questions. Oh, here we go. We have one from Tolly. Does starting with a pencil sketch from your sketchbook to do digital art a way to practice digital art?
Yeah, I see people do that all the time. Actually, one method you could try just purely for practice, don't post this and claim this as your own, but I actually think it's helpful to just take some art and just trace over it, just purely to get used to it, because I think that it's really helpful to just kind of build that muscle memory. And it's low effort, low pressure, and you could start studying things like line weight, and you could see the difference between someone curving the line versus someone stopping that line and then drawing the other line and then connecting it at the end. So yeah, I think that's a perfectly fine method to practice digital art.
Thank you so much, Anna, for the super chat. $16 for 1 tube. I hope it's a big tube. It's not. It's the typical small gouache tube, although Daniel Smith is not knowing for being a discount paint brand. I mean, their watercolors are also very pricey. But yeah, if people can help out, I'll be able to get those gouache paints. But like I said, for me to get the range of colors I need, and I'm talking about bare bones, it's going to be a good, I don't know, at least $60, $70. If I get more, which I'd prefer to show, it's probably going to be about $100. So people can help me out. That would be fantastic. Okay, let's take a look at what is happening in the Discord. Okay, we do have a couple questions here. And by the way, everybody, here are my glamour shots. So you can take a look. Does everybody see how oily the orange is?
It looks like an egg yolk.
I know. And then if you look at the green is like super drippy. So does everybody see the main difference is the Cobra paints are thinner. They're better for glazing, not so great for building up opacity. We have a question from Rambo. what would you say the difference between water soluble and regular oils is in terms of the final painting, how it feels to use them? Okay. Yeah, they're not pretty much the same. What I didn't like about the Winsor and Newton ones is that they were sticky, and I never had that problem with oil paint. And I also feel like oil paint has a certain weight to it. Like the Cobra ones, they feel sort of squishy. They don't really have that beef that I find oil paint has. I've used the water mixables on several streams, and it's almost like not quite the same thing. People talk about it as, oh, it's oils. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like oils to me. It feels like a whole other paint brand. Butter is asking, when spattering paint, how do you get it to land where you want it? Toothbrush method is too messy. Tapping my paintbrush on the handle of a second brush works for me, but my aim is still off. Oh God, I have no idea. I suppose, Butter, you could put a sheet of paper over the parts you don't want to splatter, and maybe that would help you get a little bit more control. But Jordan, isn't this just so beautiful and luminous?
Oh, yeah, it is nice. I like the yellows, how they're kind of spreading out. It's what I would do in Photoshop as the Gaussian blur. That's basically.
Yeah, I love just the celestial quality of this piece, Butter. We also have Petra here, who I believe is drawing cats. Oh, these are so fun. They have a lot of personality. Oh, I really like the way you did the patterns, because oftentimes people don't do the patterns early on, but I found that to be very helpful in terms of really capturing the character of the cat. And these are some of the mixtures. Here's that purple. Well, I mixed it with a little bit of ultramarine blue that you can see up here. I think it's just not a good fit for the painting that I want to do. Oh, Butter is making a print with the eggplant as a reference. Oh, I love seeing this. Wow, beautiful line in there. And the range of contrast is very good. We also have Dave, who is working on a watercolor assignment for college. Oh, I
Ooh,
like how there's collage in there. Oh, no, wait. Are you taping off the parts of the painting?
th-
I think
that's
you
probably
are.
taping off to protect the colors, which is a very
Yeah, that
smart
must
method.
be it. Yeah. It's probably better than masking fluid, which I find is harder to control because you apply it with a brush.
I never really used masking fluid when I was doing watercolor. Tape was always the quickest thing for me to do.
Well, the masking fluid, you have to wait for it to dry and peel it off, and you have to plant. Like the tape seems so much more immediate.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to scroll up and share a couple new things. This is from Carlo. Best painting from last year. Feeling of wearing a mask every time and the urge to remove it. Oh, very dramatic. Look at
Ooh,
that.
that is a story right there. That's really cool.
Yes. I like the yellow that's dripping down. That's really good light and dark contrast. And we also have stuff from Cryptida, who is posting a finished piece. More digital work. Oh, I love the birds.
Ooh.
They have a lot of character, and I like that they're all from a different point of view. We'll share one more. Okay, we already shared from Rambo, so I'm going to post something from Link Sop. And this is what Link Sop calls dirty hatching. When I felt I did it, I felt like I was destroying my drawing, but applying watercolors on top, I think I actually got away with it. Oh, I love the line work. Oh, it is crunchy looking. Isn't that so expressive?
Yeah, it's like what was his name? Quentin Blake? Is that his name?
Yeah. It does
Yeah.
remind me of Quentin Blake a little bit. Well, I'm so glad all of you are posting in the Art Alongs channel. It's really fun for us to see that. Okay. I believe Neil is asking, will you try the jelly gouache? They're much cheaper. And Neil also adds it's mid. Great thing about them is price. It makes gouache less intimidating. Can get great stuff with them later, but I definitely find that using pro quality is better. Kathy would like to try jelly gouache. Cool. All right, let's get back into the painting. I was just building up some green into the figure, and actually, let me adjust my camera because my thing got really dark.
I didn't hear the last half of that.
Hang on. Ugh, so much crap here. I just adjusted my camera so it's a little bit lighter.
Oh, okay.
All right. I mean, I think what you're going through, Jordan, it's like a pivotal moment, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of changes happening all at once. From the job to the industry to the marriage to moving. Like, there's not a single part of my life that's staying the same, which is really crazy. But yeah. So I got about a month and a half left of the single life, I guess, legally speaking. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be real interesting. I actually, if you guys could see my place, I've like it's all boxes right now. I've kept this setup for like streams and stuff like that, but the rest of my house is in disarray because I'm just like packing. It's it's wild.
Well, I moved cross country and we had 3 guinea pigs and an axolotl that we had to transport in a bucket in our car. And
wow.
let's just say that was an adventure.
In a bucket? Wow, that does sound like an adventure.
Well, he had to have his bubbler, the axolotl.
What's a bubbler?
You know, in the aquarium tank, they have the bubbler thing that like filters the water.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he traveled in a Home Depot bucket from our house in Boston all the way to Salt Lake City. But you know something? I don't know. A lot of people expect, especially if you go to college for something very specific, people expect that, okay, I'm a graphic design major, I'm going to do graphic design. And it's like, when I think about people I went to school with, so few of them are doing the thing they went to school for. Did you find that was the case for your peers?
Yeah, a lot of them did something that was a little bit different than what they went to school for. Some people were animation majors, never got into it, and they instead shifted to writing. Some people quit art altogether and became doctors. Some people went to an adjacent field. So some people went to comics. So it really depends. I think it's kind of I think it's always nice when you can use your degree for a job in the future, but I don't think that necessarily means that you have to be stuck to that forever in the event that life changes, which inevitably it does. I mean, if you look at life 30 years ago versus now, I mean, there's so many industries that have come out since then that have changed the world. Like, Amazon was around, but it wasn't around like it is.
It was
now.
a bookstore.
Yeah, it was just a regular bookstore, online bookstore. Then you have, obviously like social media was just starting in like the early 2000s. So, it's really shifted a lot. So relying only on your degree is, I think, a path to probably a lot of disappointment, unfortunately. And I don't think there's anything wrong with switching gears.
No, not at all. I mean, I just think as artists, well, any field, you have to adapt. The field that you went to school in is probably super different now. I mean, I think about my spouse went to school for animation. Animation in the 90s, he was using Amigas. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what that is.
It was for 3D animation. You use this thing called an Amiga.
Huh.
And we looked at computer animation. We're like, what? Like, we thought it was magical.
Wow. Yeah, things have changed so much. Like with my industry at the moment, there's a video put out by a guy named Steven Silver, and he was like, everyone has to go indie now. This isn't going to exist the way that we think it is. And I'm not saying this to discourage people from pursuing animation or art, but it's like the reality is things are very different right now than they ever have been. It's kind of like the Wild West at the moment. So, you know, I did notice this though. Like, I noticed that the last like crazy recession from from 2008, it was right around that time where there was like a big boom afterwards because there was just a shift in thinking. Like that's when smartphones came out, and that changed everything. You know, so I think there's going to be something that comes out of this. I just don't know what it is or when it's going to be. But yeah.
Well, tell me in the comments, whatever. Oh, my stupid camera is doing that. Tell me in the comments, whatever industry you have worked in, what are the changes you've seen over the years? Because academia is different. It's not what it was when I started teaching in 2007. There's now an online component, and communication is very different between students and teachers. I mean, I always told students that I didn't really want to get emails from them because it would just be better for us to talk in person about certain things. But I think it's different because we're in the post-COVID era. And I think it's different because now teachers are offering a lot of online resources. I know a lot of teachers made a lot of content for COVID, and now they're still using it. I mean, why not? You've got all that great content. Might as well use it. But nobody had stuff online. Like, I was the weirdo for having my content online before.
I remember that time. That was pretty frightening, going through all that.
Well, it was just so different. I mean, I used to send students their stuff on Google Drive. I would document things, and I think I was just the exception.
Forward thinker you are, Clara.
I know. Well, I mean, what I do now did not exist in the 90s. Nobody was on YouTube.
Technically, no one was, but yes, you're absolutely right.
Well, when did YouTube start coming along? What, 2005?
2005 is when the first video was out. Yeah, which is crazy to think YouTube is 20 years old.
It is crazy. But then the other thing too is I think YouTube really lucked out, because the other platforms, it's just like you're just watching a dumpster fire right now between the other platforms.
Yeah. I think my Javen chibi is close to done. I like him.
Really? Let me see. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have to make a sticker out of this one. This one is
You should. Cool. That's super cute.
Yeah, I'll have to clean them up, but I think I'm gonna do a separate drawing now. I think I'm gonna pick a new character.
You're not gonna color him in?
I don't know. What do you guys want to see? Should I color him in or should I do a new character? Let me know in the chat.
Color him in.
The colors are a little off. That's why I was not gonna do it. Yeah, I'm curious.
What are they saying?
Well, Kathy says sticker worthy for sure.
See?
Rainbow says color. Okay. If I color, I'm gonna have to do cleaner line work too. All right, you know, I can color them in. I can
just block it in.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do this.
Okay, I think I have a better grip on the hand. It's not perfect, but it's better than what I had before. It definitely needs more tweaks. But actually, I think what I need to do now is change the contour of the hand. So I'm just mixing up some ultramarine blue with some of the Pyrrole red to make, I guess it looks sort of like a purpley burnt umber. The burnt sienna they have is like really light. It's not that rich. And I think somebody did look up that they don't have in Alizarin Crimson. Was that Alexander? Can't remember. But anyway.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat.
I'm very disappointed, Cobra. Like, no Alizarin Crimson? Are you serious? Like, okay. I'm realizing that the arm is like not worked on, and it's also, I think, a little bit too small. So I'm putting in some neutral greens, and I will post some images in the Discord pretty soon. I don't know. Now I feel like the arm is too big. Tell me in the comments, do you guys think the arm is too big? Shoot. Oh man, did I make... Okay, no, this does line up. The hand with the side of the hip. Oh, maybe the hand at the top is too small? Or, oh, you know what I think it is? Does this sound like your brain, Jordan?
Yes, that's exactly what
I think it's this part. I think it's that negative space in between the two arms. Is it that shape? What is that? I think, oh, the hand is too small. That's it. This hand is too small. Yeah, the wrist is way lower. Oh, okay. I guess I have to like really fix this. I know I should be working on the other stuff, but this is like, you know, when figure stuff, like the proportions are so bad, it just like really intensely bothers you.
I understand that pull. I get it.
Okay. And by the way, everybody, thank you so much for the super chat from Shamar. Thank you so much for doing what you do. I've learned so much skills in media exposure. I suck at gouache, so I'm here to learn. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support, everybody. Remember, we are trying to get funds so that way I can go out and get some Daniel Smith gouache, which I will need for this weekend's gouache marathon. We have a question from Anna for Jordan. Are the changes on AI a thing? I'm guessing you're talking about in relation to the animation industry.
Yes, they are a thing. So I mentioned earlier Steven Silver. He was on, I guess, the board when it comes to the Animation Guild and everything. And he said there were two things that they really were fighting for, but they dropped the ball on. One of them was outsourcing, the other was AI. And so, what I think is going to end up happening, I don't think AI is just going to take over every single job, but I think it will certainly reduce a significant amount of them. The other challenge is that a lot of shows are not being greenlit, so there's also fewer jobs for that reason. So it is affecting things a lot, and it's one of those things where you can't really stop it. And from what I have seen people talking about, it's better to, at this point, somewhat embrace the fact that it's not going anywhere and figure out how to use that to your advantage rather than fight against it at this point. I'm not saying I like that or that that's my favorite solution, but it's true. AI is not going to go anywhere. So it's like you either embrace it or you get left behind. That's as far as this industry goes. And that's just the unfortunate reality of the situation. So yes, it is definitely a factor in all the changing tides that we see.
But don't you think that some people at least, are seeing how critical the work artists do? I mean, I know the big companies, they stand to make a lot of money. They don't care about the creative process and everything. But I guess my hope is that some percentage of the population really values what we do as artists. That's my hope. I know most people don't necessarily think that. But do you think that's true, Jordan, or am I just having wishful thinking?
Yes and no. I think people who care about it will care about it, but if you okay, so there's a movie that came out recently. It's called oh, what is it called? It has something with robots. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's the first AI feature film and it's on YouTube for free. You look at the
Oh,
credits, it's only got like 40 people working on it, and I think they made it for like $700,000. And the
oh
movie
my
was like an
God.
hour and a half. So, and everything from the voice acting to the characters and all that stuff, everything was AI. And
Yikes.
it's like, does it look as charming as something that is traditionally done by actual artists? No, not in the slightest. But if you have a 4-year old who is just bored and you put something on, do you think he's going to care?
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know, so it's like that's what you're fighting against. And it's like most parents in a situation like that, they're just like, I want my kid to be entertained for an hour so I could go, do what I have to do. um so, I mean, people like us who are artists, of course, we're upset about it. But from a business perspective, if you're able to just entertain people for an hour and a half and use as little money as possible, it's like, why not do it? Um, and again, it's an unfortunate reality. So, I will say this: I do think that people are going to get tired of it at some point because there is just a lack of artistry that is not it's just not going to be there. So I think it's going to be stale. I don't think it's going to create anything good or like um what is it, what's the term I'm thinking of? Uh Not heartbreaking, groundbreaking. Groundbreaking. Yeah, I was like,
Those are two very different things,
yeah, I
Jordan.
was like, I know it's got breaking in it, but I couldn't figure out the word. Yeah, it's not going to be groundbreaking, I think, but will it make money? It might, So these are some of the challenges that come with it, and it's really sad. I hate to see this industry and the medium that I love go through these types of things. Um, but the other thing that, like I said, the silver lining is that I do think it kind of incentivize more and more people to do their own thing. And I think what's my personal theory about these big animation studios like Disney and Nickelodeon and stuff, because they're getting such low viewership, I think they're going to end up being like big distribution houses.
Really?
So like people are going to make their own stuff and then they'll come in and be like, "Hey, we'll fund it and we'll give you all the creative rights and stuff, but we just need the viewership on our network. Can you help us?" I think that's
Right.
what's going to end up happening. And it's actually already happened with the Amazing Digital Circus, I think, on
What's that?
Netflix. It's not it's a indie animated project. It's really really big. It's made by these guys in Australia, and basically they created such a big audience that their views for their videos get more than like the average Disney trailer nowadays.
Wow.
Like that's how massive it is. And they're doing it on, I won't say a shoestring budget, but they're doing it with a small team.
Sure.
And Netflix ended up picking up the show to put it on their platform, not to have creative control, but they just said, we want it on our network because you're clearly making money off of it and we want it. But they're not controlling anything related to the content that's coming. So I think we'll see more of that happening.
I mean, that's basically what YouTube does. YouTube doesn't make content.
Mm-hmm.
We make it for them, and they are the ones that put it up.
Right. Yep. Broadcast yourself. Right. So.
Well, I think YouTube dodged a bullet when they tried to do their own production.
Oh, with YouTube Red and stuff.
Yeah, they totally, if they had done that, I think they would have been screwed.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, Cobra Kai was one of those shows, actually.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, I think they made a good call.
I mean, I wonder if YouTube is just like eating up all the distress of the other platforms. I mean, I really think Instagram is going to go down in flames like any minute. Like I'm totally preparing for that moment. Do people think that's the case? I don't know why. I just have this feeling.
I have no clue. I haven't even really thought about it much, to be honest with you. But I do know if any platform, YouTube is here to stay. That is definitely the most versatile.
Yeah.
Because there's no, and I think what makes it better in a lot of ways is that there's no like age limit. You know,
No, there's not.
like with Instagram, there's kind of an audience, like a target audience for that. You know,
Yeah.
people who are into social media, age. You know, I notice people who tend to be like Gen X or something. They don't really post a whole lot. They just kind of like it for doom scrolling. But then millennials and Gen
Right.
Z are really on it, and Gen Alpha and stuff. But YouTube is so universal. Like you could learn how to put together a car. Like I think I mentioned this story before, but I learned how to turn my car battery on and off from a YouTube video a few years ago.
That's amazing.
And so like it's super useful. Or you can watch YouTube for like really nonsense content, you know,
Or air
like
to debate videos.
or that. Yes, of course.
Or Hugh
Can't leave
Jackman
that out.
interviews.
Or Hugh Jackman interviews. Yes, that's right. That is correct.
The other thing that I do like better about YouTube is on Instagram, your video basically has a life of 2 or 3 days. Unless it performs extremely well, which is often not the case. Your videos are gone after a few days. And on YouTube, we have people watching stuff we made 7 years ago. And I think that's extremely compelling that the algorithm doesn't just destroy your videos after a few days.
Yeah, it's very useful in that regard. It's very, very useful. Yeah, YouTube is here to stay no matter what. Actually, I saw something that said Nickelodeon was considering making a show specifically for YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it's called. I don't even know if it's like an actual show, but I know that was a consideration of theirs, which makes sense. I mean, they're losing viewers.
They are,
They're losing a
yeah.
lot of viewers.
I mean, that's pretty alarming for them, I'm sure.
Oh,
All right, let's take a look at some of the comments. And I did post some updates, some close-ups of the hands. Little hard to photograph right now because of the glare. I'll shoot some better photos later on for people to see. But hopefully this is enough just so you can have something to look at. Remember, everybody, we do need super chats in order for me to go and get the Daniel Smith gouache, which I'm hoping to use this weekend for the gouache marathon. Okay. Anna says, I don't have many followers on Instagram, but the ones I have are very supportive. That's great. And Anna also says, makes me kind of sad. I like my little art community I made on Instagram. I mean, we have a really nice following on Instagram. People write really lovely comments. We're lucky that our audience is awesome. I think you're the best, but I'm a little bit biased. And the same thing is the case with YouTube. We also get really wonderful, thoughtful comments. Sometimes people know more about the thing that we're talking about. And I always really appreciate when people contribute to the conversation that way. And this is a good point. Rainbow says in the animation industry, they also don't have to provide benefits in those scenarios. Oh, a lot of animation is a gig economy. I mean, you're lucky if you get a 1-year contract, right?
Yeah, it didn't used to be that way. They would just
No.
move you to the next project, but because like what's basically happening now is you have, let's say you have a maximum of 10 shows you could have on a network. Let's just for the sake of example, these companies are not greenlighting new shows. So let's say instead of 10, they're making 4. So if you only need 4 shows, you're going to need fewer people. And then the other stuff that you can do to outsource, you could just, like Clara said, use it as a gig economy and just do a small contract. Like I've worked for companies, big companies, for like 5 days. And I mean, it's on my resume, but technically I only worked for like a week, And so, and they don't pay health insurance benefits or anything like that. It's just, it's just how it is. So a lot of people in the industry are struggling. And then the fires certainly don't help. And that's another reason why I think things are changing, because I saw something from Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, and they're saying, oh, we should move Hollywood to Texas, which is, I think, where they're located. But then there's Netflix just announced they're making like a $900 million studio in like New Jersey, and they're already filming in Atlanta, and like Hollywood, California is not going to be the mecca of entertainment in a few years. I really think that's going to be the case.
Neil is asking, is the marriage the March surprise thing? Yes, it was. Or is there another surprise? I remember you said you signed a contract. I did sign a contract. Not as exciting as the wedding, but that is going to be, I'm hoping, announced fairly soon. I have to talk to the people, see what's going on there. But let's just say it's another form for me to... What am I doing?
I don't know. I can't even do.
It's another form of education. Let's just say that. It's really, really exciting. We also have Shamar is asking, I'm a heavy water media user. Do they blend differently compared to regular oil paint? I just think that water mixable oils feel like a different paint. I don't really even think about them as being like oils, even though I can't explain the science of this, you guys. But I think technically water mixable oils are oil paint, but I think there's something in the formulation that allows them to be washed with water. But honestly, if you guys want to oil paint, just oil paint, because we did do the painting marathon where I used solvent-free oil materials, and it worked really well. And to be honest, between the two, if I had to pick water mixable oils and regular oils, it would definitely be oils. Like, these are not remotely as, I don't know, they just feel a little bit thin. It's sort of like eating Wonder Bread instead of homemade bread. Like, Wonder Bread is all air. That's sort of how it feels to me.
That's funny. I don't know if I've ever had Wonder Bread.
You're not missing out on very much.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't like it.
Yes, I do have more territory to grow my empire. This is new territory that I have never been in before.
Ooh, now I'm curious. I don't, because you didn't announce this to us on the team yet either. Did you? Yeah. Was I there for the meeting? Because I might have missed it.
Selena says, I saw an interview with a tech person. They said it looks like AI is as good as it's going to get in Meta, and Microsoft's going to take a major hit when the bubble bursts due to their investment. Oh my gosh, Microsoft Teams is the worst platform. I've only used it a couple times, and it's a nightmare. I'm like, Microsoft, what are you guys doing? Like, did you not test usability on this at all? Yeah, I think they're also, things are changing for them as well. Neil says, I remember you said water mixable Winsor Newton oils felt slippery. Is Cobra the same? Cobra is definitely creamier. It's thin. It's not opaque like the Winsor Newton, but I will tell you it's not sticky. That, for me, is a big deal breaker because the stickiness of the Winsor Newton really bothered me. And the other thing is that when it dried, it still felt kind of sticky. Oil paint doesn't feel that way. I guess I would use Winsor Newton for the opaque areas, but beyond that, I think I probably would use Cobra. It's just the Cobra I think would be really bad at building up opacity. Cyborg says, congrats on the contract and no to Wonder Bread. Yes. Well, I just had Bread Fairy bread this morning, which was heaven. And she did make us white bread. And I always associate white bread with having no flavor. But her white bread has the most wonderful flavor. Yeah, I'm not telling you what the contract is. It's for later.
You guys already got a big surprise today, so
You did. I'm not giving you 2 in one stream. So Butter says, I have carefully curated who I follow on Instagram, so my feed is like a daily museum visit. I missed it when I did the meta blackout. Everybody uses it differently, and I do think that it takes time to figure out how to use it in a way that is not frustrating, because when you follow somebody, Jordan, and you're like, oh, this would be interesting, and then after a few days you're like, nah, I don't want to follow you anymore.
honestly, I don't know if that's happened too many times, but there have been moments where I haven't even seen anything from them like ever. So that
Yeah.
happens a lot.
Here's some of the mixtures I'm doing, everybody. So here's a mixture. Okay, so this is the permanent green, and this was a mixture of ultramarine with cadmium yellow. But then I think it got too green, so I added a little bit of Puro red. Although in retrospect, I don't know why I didn't use yellow ochre, because I was looking for a muted green. And if I used a yellow ochre, I feel like that would have been a little bit more efficient. Let's see what else people are putting into the chat. Oh, this is so satisfying. Dave used the masking tape for the whites, tiny gouache in the sky showing through the trees. Oh, that is really satisfying. Isn't that beautiful?
That's amazing.
Oh, the sunlight is so palpable, and really great move on the gouache up here, because I was talking to somebody about this. We had a clouds workshop this past week, and I think the tendency for a lot of people is to do the sky first and then paint the tree over the sky. But the thing is, you can't ever really get away with that, because there's always a little bit of blue that's peeking through. So this is a really great example of where that's extremely helpful. All right, so Butter used a baby wipe to lift out the eggplant. Baby wipes solve everything. I use them for so many things. They clean jelly plates incredibly well. Nothing else works like a baby wipe.
Really? Not even like a Clorox wipe or something?
No, the baby wipe is like extra soft and smooth. And so when you clean the jelly plate, it's just so much better.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, so Selena says, I like layering the masking fluid like batik. Keep adding layers. Don't remove until the painting is done. Oh my gosh. Masking fluid pen. I have never heard of that before. Okay, well, let's take a look at the batik style. What? That's amazing, Salinas. I never thought about using masking fluid in multiple layers, because I just always think about, oh, yes, you just put it to mask out an area. But that is so brilliant, Salinas. And then we also see here these triangular constructions. Oh, okay, so here's where you added the masking fluid. Those are such beautiful objects, Salinas. Look at that.
That's really cool.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you guys for sharing stuff in the chat. Let's see what else is happening in show and tell. And remember, I really try to give shout outs to all different kinds of people, so I don't repeat the same person all the time. Here is a digital piece from Jade. And by the way, I know my internet is not great, but I love the. All right. Also, ever doing registration right now for March and April workshops. Mia, Jordan, if you want to register for a workshop, you got to do it in the next 2 weeks, because if you wait till later, the workshop may not be running. We have to have a certain number of people for the workshop to run. So don't tell yourself, oh, I'll do that later. If you do that, there may be no workshop for you to register for. We do keep things open beyond the workshop registration. However, we do need to see that happening so the workshop can run. Tolly's asking, did the Cobra paint come with an odor? Oh, there's no odor at all. Yeah, the Winsor Newton doesn't really have an odor either, but there's like zero odor with the Cobra. Okay. I really, really want to fix this hand. I'm going to get back into that. Jordan, how are you doing that so fast?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think this was fast, actually.
I mean, I blinked and all of a sudden there was all these nice clean lines.
To be fair, you have been reading the comments while I was still like drawing stuff being said.
I have. That is true.
Yeah.
But I will say, everybody, I do like the feel of the Cobra paints. They definitely are creamier. It's sort of like the Michael Harding paints, the oil paints I'd been using. Those were really creamy, and I loved the way those felt in my brush. When it comes down to paint, it's like, how does it feel in my brush? Like, that's the most important thing. Jordan, are we ever going to get you to pick up a paintbrush again?
Maybe. Maybe. But the thing is, I never got to a place where I felt very comfortable with painting, so it never made me like super confident to go back to it. So yeah, I'd probably have to start from scratch again. Plus, it's been so many years.
Well, why do you think you didn't feel confident?
I don't. I'll be honest. I don't think I either I didn't grasp the concepts or I didn't have teachers who were able to explain it to me when I was in school very well. And it became very discouraging because I have my paintings from like when I was in school and they look terrible. Like it's embarrassing for me. So I don't even like looking at it, and I would actually like to learn it and like from scratch and just like get into it. But I have other goals, so for now I'm just like, you know what, let me figure out shadow boxers.
Sorry, everybody. My internet cut out for a sec.
Oh, wait. Do I need to restart? I don't know if that affected me. Should I restart?
Huh? I think my internet cut out for a second. Sorry.
Oh, should I restart what I was saying?
Yeah, because I didn't hear it.
Okay, so basically, I would like to actually learn how to paint traditionally at some point, but right now I just have other things in my mind. I'm trying to figure out life outside of this industry, on top of moving, on top of wedding stuff. So it's just like it's a lot at the moment. Like shadow boxers, takes up all my creative energy.
Sure. When you started painting, did it feel intuitive to you, or did it feel like an uphill battle? Because
what?
I thought I was good at painting, but I wasn't. And I didn't realize it until many years later.
Yeah, it's always been an uphill battle.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it's always been like one of those things. It's like, and so I would need to like sit down and like actually like go and learn it. And I think part of it is like I loved going to art school, but one of the challenges with art school is you're expected to embrace and learn all these things in 13 to 15 weeks on top of multiple other classes, and sometimes that's just not enough time for people.
Oh yeah,
like that's the one thing I don't like about it, because you have to go. I mean, if you're trying to do a school system, of course it's going to take a while, and not everyone's going to be the same. But in my case, I was able to pick up things like drawing and stuff way faster, whereas painting was never very intuitive for me. So you can call it avoidance if you like, that's fine. But that's just the reality of it. And I had way more important things to figure out. Like, my goal was always, I'm going to be a character designer or storyboard artist or something like that. And so the skills that are required for those types of jobs were not really traditional painting.
Yeah.
So if anything, digital painting was more important, actually. But now that things are starting to shift in the industry, and I actually think it would be more of an asset to learn some of these more traditional mediums, because there's going to be, if you can do things traditionally, you're not going to be replaced by AI when it comes to art. Like, there's just no way, because all the AI artists, or all the artists who are concerned about AI taking over, is usually someone who's working digitally, just realistically.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, if you're working on a canvas like how you are, the chances of AI scraping that, and turning it into like they might be able to print the brushstrokes, but if you had like texture that came off the canvas or something like that, as far as I know, you couldn't really replicate that.
Oh, so, definitely.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely going to be a heightened appreciation for things like that in the future.
Well, I made this hand bigger, and now the other hand is too small. I have to go back in it. Fix it. I mean, right now, because I know people are asking me about what I'm focusing on, I'm exclusively thinking about just getting the anatomy in here, not really thinking about the other stuff. Because I guess right now I'm drawing. I'm not really painting at this stage. Okay, so what was intuitive for you? Was it figure drawing?
Figure drawing was pretty intuitive for me, yeah. Anything having to do with characters was always intuitive. Part of that is, I think, because I've been doing it so long. Like, I've been doing figure drawing for 15 years. So it's a lot easier for me to grasp that as a concept. And I had to learn how to do everything else. But like, for example, environment design, that actually doesn't come easily to me at all. I actually just got a book on that, which I still haven't read because of all the stuff I've been doing. I've been wedding planning like crazy the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
So yeah, once I get a minute, I want to sit down and read that book so I can use it for my projects.
I guess for me, definitely drawing. Drawing is where I feel the most comfortable. I mean, I feel like it's just, I like wanted to be a painter so bad. I wanted to be good at it. When you just like tell yourself, you're like, yeah, I'm good at this. Because you want to be good at it.
Yeah.
But then you're just like in intense denial.
Yes. 100%.
Because I was like, yeah, painting's my thing. I'm a painter. And later, I don't know. I think I just really wanted to be good at it.
Kind of have to will these things into existence sometimes.
Exactly. Which, sometimes that can work. Not all.
I mean, I think that's probably the only way it can work, is like, I've heard Kobe Bryant talk about these things, and he's like, whenever I have a bad game, I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
To ignore it. I'm like, dude, what the heck? But he's just a different kind of beast too.
Right.
Oh wait, Neil has a question. What's the name of that environment design book? I'd like to read it. It is called Framed Environment Design by Marcos Mateo Mestri. I could type it in the chat.
Okay, I'm feeling a little better about this painting. This, out of all the paintings I did for the painting marathon, this is the one that I really had a hard time with.
I always spell this guy's name wrong. I got it right.
You and your art books, Jordan.
What?
You love your art books.
I do, but this one in particular, I like this one a lot because this guy, I think he's to me, he's like a modern Andrew Loomis in the sense that
Oh, is he?
For me, because he is such a great teacher, and so he has books on perspective, which are actually some of the easiest books I've ever read on the
Oh,
subject.
yeah?
It's very easy. Yeah, like his whole framed ink series. It started off. He has 2 framed ink books. One of them, actually, you got me. Those are storyboarding and composition books, and then he has framed perspective. He has 2 volumes on perspective, and going through all the fundamentals there. And then he just came out in November. Like, this book is brand new, about environment design. And I've never actually seen a book that specifically focused on that wasn't like for a certain project. It was just, so I saw that and I was like, I'm getting this. I don't even care with the price tag. I think I got it for like $50.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, it's actually pretty down the middle. Most art books are about that price. So, yeah, I got it on pre-order and it came in the mail. And yeah, it's looking really, really good. I just have to actually sit down and read it.
I don't know if people had a chance to look at the DuraBook stream that I just released yesterday, but I actually don't know how much that book costs, but it's gigantic. It's like an oversized book, like to the point where I was having trouble holding it during the video that I was shooting.
Really? That's pretty massive.
But it's a beautiful book. I mean, there's just certain things that there's so many images in that book that are not online. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is like, yes, it's convenient to look at stuff online, but the thing is, it's like the range of what you can get in a book is so much greater.
Yeah. What I actually like to do, I will buy a book and then I will go and see if there's a PDF of it, purely for like when I travel or the book becomes fragile and I don't want it to like get crushed or something. I do it for that specific purpose because like the information's still good. They still got my money. I don't feel like I'm stealing or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I realistically, if I want 7 books, I can't, like if I'm going on a flight and I want 7 books, that's going to be really difficult for me, So yeah, find that to be a much better solution.
Is that what you do on the airplane?
Actually, yes.
Really?
Yeah, I will. I was reading one of his books, actually, one of Marcos's art books on the plane. I think it was a perspective book. Yeah, I don't do it for the whole flight. I might take like a half hour to 45 minutes doing it, but I do that. Yeah,
I totally use it to catch up on Aaron Tveit movies.
That's funny.
Or I'll watch an Aaron Tveit or Hugh Jackman movie or Benedict Cumberbatch that I've seen 18,000 times.
I don't blame you. I've certainly watched movies on flights. I don't often do that because usually when I take flights, it's not very long. It's maybe like 2.5 to 3 hours. And, sometimes I start the movie late and I don't actually get a chance to like watch most of the movie. So by the time the plane lands, I didn't finish the movie. Like one time I was watching Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I think there were maybe 20 minutes left in the movie before it landed.
No!
And I missed the ending. And so I'm trying to get home. I'm in the Uber trying to figure out like a streaming service on my phone that I can watch it on, and like or like a some sort of website to find it. And it took me like an hour to figure it out.
No.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I like how you're like finishing a chibi design and I like barely did anything on my painting.
Well, to be fair, I've done this many times too.
I've done this many times.
Oh, I was trying to give you a way out, but if you don't want to take it.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you entertaining me. But I am feeling better. In the beginning, I was like, oh, what? What is happening? I have no idea. But it is starting to make a little more sense, which is good. And I'm happy I got in some of the green because I had too much red before. I mean, I think I now have too much green, but I'll go back in and fix it. It's a real back and forth process. All right, let's see what people are saying in the chat. Oh, yeah. Paula says, I get books secondhand or from the library, only buy new books if I'm in another country and I find a book I don't think I could get home. Oh, yeah. There's so many books that are just not available where you are. And I know what that's like. But you know what else is you can get amazing deals. I got this Annie Leibovitz book, which is huge. It's like a gigantic art book for like $10 at a antique sale. You can get really amazing deals. LG says, congrats, Jordan and Kathy. Such a stunning couple. I can't wait for the babies. Oh God, don't even get me started. Like, oh my God.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, LG.
Harry says, I get my books from charity shops too. Unless there's books I can't find, I just bite the bulletin and buy new. Oh, yeah. Butter wants to see a close-up of the hand. Yes. Actually, I tweaked the other one as well. So let me just get a full view, and then I'll send you the version that's here. Sorry, again, it's like super glary. But I'll post a better version later.
I just realized I've been drawing this whole time. I didn't hit save once.
What? Have you not learned anything, Jordan?
I have. That's why I'm adjusting it now.
I think I was in Premiere. I was editing something, and I lost like an hour of work because I didn't save. And so now I'm super compulsive about saving like every 5 minutes.
I can understand that. I totally get that. I just slipped up.
Jen says, I have a giant Durabook I got a few months ago from a local used bookshop for $8. What? Paula says, do you have a favorite painting from the marathon? I think it's the cherry painting. The other ones are interesting. I think my least favorite one, well, I don't really want to say that. That's not very nice. But I feel like the one that needs, well, they all need work. I think the figure piece I'm struggling with a little bit because the pose is really strange and because I'm departing so much from the photos. This one is difficult, but it is a subject I like because I shot these references. It's related to work I did a long time ago. The tree painting has been really fun. However, those paints just take so long to dry that is driving me a little crazy for that reason. Yes, Jordan's getting married. Yes, he is.
Yes, I am. That was the big announcement from, I think if you go to like the 15-minute mark in the stream, it's somewhere in that range.
Plus, we've got the photos of Jordan and Kathy.
She's crying. You guys can't see her, but I can. She's already crying again.
Yeah, but you guys are so cute.
Aw. Well, thank you.
And by the way, if you want to check out their wedding website, that is in the description, everybody.
Yep.
So cute.
Yeah, you guys can buy us wedding presents.
You know something? That wedding registry, I had just moved into a new house when I got married, and I swear we would have had an empty kitchen if people hadn't sent us things because we had nothing at the time.
Really? Well, yeah, in that case, we don't want to end up like that. So we don't want to end up empty-handed. So please help us out.
Jen says, which paints were you using for the tree painting? I was using these oil paints. They're called Geneva oil paints, and they're made by this artist, Mark Carter. And he does have a really big website. I think it's called Draw Mix Paint. I did put the information in the video description of those painting videos, but they're actually formulated for alla prima, and that's why they take so long to dry, because that's a better fit for that. But because I paint so much in layers, it's actually not a very good fit for the way that I paint. Anna says, my computer crashed during a long grant application. I lost half of it. It was due at midnight. Oh my gosh, that is painful, Anna. Oh my God. We have a question from Tally. Out of all the art forms, what's your favorite media for making art? Oh, I don't have one. I love them all for various reasons. For me, it's more a matter of, okay, I have the subject. What is the media that is the best fit for me at the time? Kathy's here live in the chat, everybody. You can say hi to Kathy, Jordan's fiance. Cool. Yes, I do mean octopus. My tree painting doesn't really look like a tree painting. It looks like an octopus. So thank you for the reminder. Okay, let's get back into that. See if I can do a little bit more. I'm not really happy with the green that is in the thigh area. You know what I don't like about painting with oils is my phone gets oil paint on it. Now that, I don't like that, Jordan.
Oh, I wouldn't like it either. When I was in school and I was using oil paint, I always use gloves.
It's gross. I have to gloves are helpful. I just like feeling the brush. I don't know. It's like when a baby is born, skin to skin. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about.
When a baby is born? I've held newborns before.
No. Do you know what skin to skin is?
Yes, I know what skin to skin is.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Because I'll be visiting you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, every time I work on these on a stream, I'm like, oh, I want to work on it more. But I find it hard to make the time for it. And then the other thing too is the streams are barely enough for me to feel like I'm getting into the piece. I mean, for painting, I really feel like I need a good 4 hours to get anything done. I mean, do you have that with digital or not so much?
When I feel like I need more time?
Yeah, like it's almost not worth working if you can't get in a good chunk of time.
Yeah, that's a problem for me. That goes with everything. It's like, oh, I don't have, if for me, if I don't have the amount of time to drive to the gym, work out, and then come back and shower comfortably, then I will avoid exercise.
Yeah.
It's not a good habit. It's not a good habit at all, but it does happen.
Well, sometimes I really don't want to go to the gym, and my spouse is always like, oh, you could just go and do a lighter workout. I'm like, yeah, but because I finally dragged my butt there, I feel like it's dumb to just do half a workout.
Right. Like I would rather just do it at home. Like I have a pull-up bar here. It's like I would rather just do that, because you could get quite a solid workout from pull-ups, but yeah,
I hate pull-ups.
A lot of people do. Yeah. Sometimes they aren't fun.
I'm just weak. Like I don't have strong arms. I never have had strong arms.
Yeah, that's not an uncommon thing. Pull-ups are very difficult. It took me a long time to get used to them, and I could still. I feel like
Are
I
you
can
still
still.
following your schedule, Jordan? Your spreadsheet schedule?
Not as much right now because I'm trying to plan a wedding and moving. But I have been going to the gym, and I do fit in some drawing time. But like I said, like trying to move and plan a wedding at the same time, on top of everything else I have going on, I had to put a pause on my schedule for a little bit. This is a very I don't want to call it an inconvenient time, but it is definitely unprecedented. I'll call it that.
Unprecedented, aren't we? The drama queen.
What? What? It's not. Well, look, I've never planned a wedding before, let alone mine. So,
I'll give you that.
yeah, it's kind of a lot going on. So, yeah.
I mean, it's a big transition. I got married the summer after I finished my master's degree, and then I had to move from New York to Boston, and I had a teaching job that I had gotten, but it was a lot, like moving, getting married, starting my professional career. It's so many things all at once.
Yep. That's what I'm facing. So, yeah, I haven't had as much time to because the schedule included like 4 hours of learning Blender and 5 hours of doing this and 6 hours, and I have the energy to do those things, but not on top of all this other stuff. So I'm kind of taking a little pause for right now, just for my own sanity, because for anyone who's ever planned a wedding, it's a lot to do. You got venue stuff, catering, invitations, and decorations, and registering in all these places, and in my case, moving. So it's quite a feat.
I mean, it's like a part-time job planning a wedding.
It is definitely.
Which I'm glad I don't have to do.
Nope, you just show up and cry.
I mean, our wedding wasn't even that complicated. Exactly. Well, it's kind of like, and I get it. I know some people really don't like it when there's screaming kids in a restaurant, but honestly, my reaction every single time is, oh, that is not my child. It does not concern me.
Yeah. I saw the craziest video yesterday. It was this 12-year-old girl, maybe she was 11 or something, and she just went on a rampage at a grocery store and started throwing food everywhere. What? And there were no parents around. There was the video was like 2 minutes long, and there's no sign of a parent. And everyone's like, just leave her alone. Like the security didn't know what to do. The people who worked there didn't know what to do. And it was just like, dang, like, what is this girl experiencing where she just decides to go on a rampage and she's throwing glass and stuff.
What?
Like those Martinelli's sparkling cider. It's like, what in the
poor
world?
Kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard all kinds of stories, bad parenting from my students, and not trying to judge, but I had students say things to me. So I would teach at the RISD pre-college program, and I would sometimes ask them, oh, why did you decide to do this program? And I had kids who would say to me, oh, well, my parents wanted to go to Greece this summer, so I'm here. It's like,
wow.
That's really not nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I think that is common, that kids get sent to these programs because their parents are doing something else, or, Oh, man. I think my figure is growing, everybody.
It's growing.
Well. I think it's getting bigger and bigger. Well, because I keep compensating for one spot. Like I keep making one hand bigger or smaller, and then it's making the other ones bigger or smaller.
Oh, I see.
Like right now, I'm making the fingers longer. because I'm trying to compensate for the rest. Sheesh. You know, it's like domino effect. Change one thing in your piece, gotta change everything.
I know that experience. Been through that.
Of course, like now that I'm feeling better about the piece, well, I'm not going to say anything because I need my audience retention to happen. So that way we get better views.
That's right. Coded language.
It's all about audience retention, everybody. Which is interesting because YouTube, for the longest time, it was about views, like how many views you got in a video. But now it's all about retention, like how can you hold the audience's attention? That's what counts.
YouTube pulling a sneaky on us.
Oh, I think this is better because is it? I still feel like this, maybe this arm is not wide enough. Oh, still not convinced about this. I'm going to try widening it. Maybe that will help. It's like you never know. It's like, is it that color? Is it the drawing? Is it the...
Art is like constantly second guessing yourself at all times.
I think that's so true. Do people feel like you're doing that when you're making work? Do you feel like you're second guessing yourself? Tell us in the chat.
I'm like quadruple guessing.
Oh gosh. Quadruple guessing.
Yeah. It gets pretty ferocious sometimes.
Oh yeah, I think I do actually think it looks better, everybody. Just took a while. Because I'm just going in and I'm tweaking a bunch of things on the side of the torso, which I think is better. Like I didn't even think about color today. I guess I added some green, but that's kind of it. Gosh, I wonder if the leg is too short now. Oh, the foot is too small. Oh man, I got to fix that later. We're going to go to the Art Along's channel. We have some updates. Ooh, Butter printed the eggplant, colored it with powder from New Pastel. Love how the water mixable oil paint grips the pastel powder. Wow. Isn't that color gorgeous? Look at the purple and the yellow and the green.
I like the swirls too. That's awesome.
Oh, it's super energetic, Butter. It's super plump. I like plump things. We also have, okay, that one we did review as well. So fun to see all of you here sharing all of your different techniques. It's just one of my favorite things to see everybody. Jen says, always, this is great. This is terrible. What am I doing with my life? This is okay. I love this.
Nothing in between. That is just purely it.
Oh, here's your solution, Jordan. We found it. Alexander says, our wedding was a potluck. It was great and so stress-free. One of my aunts ordered a pretty cake and an uncle brought his huge smoker for fish, a brisket, and a massive turkey. Whoa. Can your uncle come cater my next party?
I'll have to think about that one. Potluck is not a bad idea.
Anna says, I hate when people judge parents for kids having problems in public. They may be autistic and overwhelmed. As someone who is spectrum adjacent, I relate a lot to sensory overload. Oh, I don't judge parents if their kid is having a hard time. It's just if the parent is nowhere to be found, that's not a good thing in general. Because I have been that parent with a screaming child at the grocery store multiple times. And I confess I used to really judge parents when I was younger before I had kids. And now I'm like, you know what? You're alive. You woke up. You are a superhero in my mind when it comes to parents, because it's just the hardest thing. Anna is asking, how hard is it to transition after you graduate from art school? I mean, it's any transition, any big life transition, because you go from having a very structured schedule, having resources within an arm's reach. I think the hardest thing is to really establish your own independent practice. I mean, there's logistical things like, how do I schedule things? What project do I work on? So it's almost like you go from a lot of structure and direction that you didn't have to come up with yourself to anything under the sun, which is challenging. For me, that was absolutely the hardest thing. Neil says, how do you clean the oil paint on your phone? Baby wipes. Oh, I should. Oh, I never thought about that. I was just using a cleaner and a rag. Oh, maybe I should try that. Alexander says, you touch your phone while painting normally, or is it because of the stream while I'm painting normally? Actually, what I need to do is start using my iPad, because I should use that as a reference.
That's one of the best references you can use.
Yeah, I know. I just haven't figured it out. Nancy says, congratulations, Jordan and Kathy. Many, many beautiful blessings over your marriage. And I believe we need another shot of Kathy and Jordan, in case you missed it, are getting married in March. And you bet the Art Prof crew is going to be there. I don't think we've ever had that many of us in one place before. So that's going to be really cute.
Yeah, there's certain people I haven't even met from the Art Prof team. Like, I've never met Lauren in person, and I've never met Dorian in person. Or Mia, but Mia's not going to be able to make it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
A reminder, everybody, we are doing registration for March and April workshops. That is due next Friday. Register now to make sure that these workshops run. If we do not get enough people registered in the next 2 weeks, the workshops will not be able to run. We do have workshops taught by Jordan. Have spaces in Jordan's creature design workshop that is this coming Sunday. I am also teaching one on Loosen Up Your Art, which is coming up very soon, and also experimental printmaking. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.